Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita in Chapter 3, entitled Karma Yoga, the Yoga of Action. Presently in the 5th verse, Arjuna had asked the question that since a sthita prajna, one who is established in intuitive wisdom, his characteristics are to be free of all desires, all karmas, to be always rooted in a balanced state of mind. This being so, the goal is to be beyond karmas, beyond all agitations. Then why are you urging me to fight? Why can't you just give me a quick jump? That occurs in the mind of spiritual aspirants. So everything is attained in this world either in a dull-wit way or in a wise way. Dull-wit way, you just go on doing it without any insight, without any guidance. In a wise way, you learn the art and you are accomplished, well prepared. And in the world of karma, certain things can be attained very quickly. You can take a car and take a big trip to Canada. It will take you a long time. But you adopt the right force, jet planes, etc., you go fast. So isn't there the same reality in relation to attaining liberation? Either you adopt a slow movement of like riding a car, or take a jet plane. Simple point to understand. Goal of life, attaining the goal of life has nothing to do with the way things of this world are attained. Things that you attain in the world, those attainments are in the realm of Maya. Just like think of attaining things during the dream and waking up. While in dream, you have a certain insight into how to get the object, what to do with it. There is a certain sense of causation in your mind. But someone tells you this is a sick state. You have to wake up. Then your mind says, what should I do? Should I climb this bamboo tree or apple tree? Should I dive into the lake? How am I to wake up? Similarly, when you are told you must wake up, attain enlightenment, mind now builds up various ideas. How can I quickly do that? How many karmas are there, and let me just finish them. And then you put down in your diary so many karmas. If I do so many mantras, you bring out the whole mathematics. Then plan out in 3 months, finish with all karma. I'm just making a joke out of it. But the idea is that's completely wrong. All this form of thinking is backed up by ignorance. Just like there is a totally different situation when you want to wake up from a dream. Nothing of your dream experience can give you the idea of how to wake up from your dream. And yet you have to wake up. Similarly, all your concepts of getting things in the world, they are transcended. And yet you have to get liberation. Getting liberation is not like getting any karmic fruit. Getting liberation is like waking up. Karmic process is the process of becoming. You always view yourself imperfect. And your mind says perfection will come if you do this. Wait until the project is done and you are better than before. This is called a process of becoming. Every soul wants to go on becoming. The way it is never satisfied. Being is not important. Becoming is important. That's called bhava vyadhi, the disease of the world process. No one is satisfied the way they are. They're always working for something to happen, something that you must accomplish. Somewhere you have to go. Someone you have to meet. Something you have to eat. Something you have to see. And that becoming process has no end to it. So while there's one side, you are drawn to the process of becoming, that's called samsara, the world process. Another side, the process of being. Just be what you are, by removing from you layers of illusions. Again, put things in a more clearer way. The spiritual reality is the soul is like the sun. And the sun alone is, there is nothing, not more. I'm talking in a relative way. As we know, the sun up there, and there are many reflections. Reflected suns, they are like jivas, individual souls. Reflected sun is in the world of becoming. It is never the same. Even in 2 minutes you see it is shaking. It has changed. The water has become a little different and its reflection has changed. And there is no end to it. Put the water into a better jar, change the texture of the water, make the water clearer. And the reflected sun goes on becoming. But being, to discover I am the sun. Moving towards the sun does not have any time-space project. It is a form of understanding. The reflected sun doesn't have to go anywhere, doesn't have to do any special thing. But it has to internalize its attention. Who am I? I do not belong to the jar. I do not belong to that water. I am a ray of that. That ray is the link between the reflected sun and the sun. To ascend that ray, to discover. Now is always discovering yourself. Who am I? Not gaining anything. From the state of inflated becoming to thinned out being. That's the story. From the world of explosion of reflection of the sun to just one simple sun up there. The world of Alpam, little, exploding into so many names and forms. The one that shines on. And all things on the earth are refractions of that sun. All that you experience through your mind and senses, from life to life, they are refractions of the self. And you as the soul, reflected sun, can never be fulfilled, no matter you go through millions of lifetimes, until there is an internal wisdom, insight, that though reflected sun is here in the jar, its root, its reality is the sun. Though as soul I am bound to the body and live in a particular place, having so many relationships of different types, yet the real I am is Satchidananda, absolute self. With this fifth verse, nahi kaschit kshanamapi jat tishtatya karma krit karyate yavashah karma sarvah prakriti gunai. No one can stay without action, even for a single moment. The gunas born of Prakriti impel a person to constantly perform actions. In the state of bondage, there is no choice. You cannot make a choice of shunning all actions and just being actionless. Though, when you read the scriptures, that's what the goal is. Being actionless, just being where there is no karma. Mind conjures up the idea that in order to attain enlightenment, if I were to shut out all actions, senses, do nothing, stop talking, etc., all senses, silence it. Silence the mind. And even here and now, you have become Brahma. Theoretically, it seems very practical. But giving up action, if you think of it, it's absolute impossibility. But even while you sit quiet, you are doing sometimes more action in being quiet than if you were busy doing something. Think of a rider riding a horse. He's riding the horse moves on and he's more relaxed. But someone has told him there is something dangerous in front of you. So just hold on. Don't let the horse, don't move. Now, keeping the horse quiet, seated upon the horse, that's a much more taxing task. Though to an outward stranger, a journalist, his report is, he has been just quiet on a horse. He's not running. But if you think of in a subtle way, he is more bored, taxed, seated in one position than if you were involved, moving with the horse. Much in the same way, when you adopt the task, I am going to quiet myself, no activity. You may seem to succeed But in reality, action is going on. Mosquito comes near you, you drive it. Your nose is working, you are breathing in and out. Your heart is pumping. All vital functions continue. All that I'm leading you to understand that inactivity, absolute inertia cannot be adopted. So therefore, your only choice is to understand the value and the style and the art with which you must continue to perform your actions. Doing actions and becoming inwardly relaxed, that's more effective, wiser than stopping actions with the idea that inwardly I will become serene. That's completely impossible. Because the gunas born of Prakriti impel a person to constantly perform actions. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, three gunas go on operating in every individual. Sattva gives you a sense of harmony, peaceful atmosphere. Sattva urges you to become internalized. Rajas, that keeps you active, always idea after idea, desire after desire. Tamas leads you to sleep, inertia, dullness. I gave you very broad idea about the gunas. More details will come in the Gita. Many minor details. These three gunas are mixed in every individual. Karmendriyani sanjamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sauchyate. O Arjuna, those who have restrained the organs of action but continue to think of the objects of the senses are foolish and hypocritical. Try to understand. In the disciplinary state, you are given the instruction how to sit in meditation, withdraw your mind from objects. But all that is disciplinary. That cannot become your goal. You cannot be just seated all the time. Disciplinary process is just to lead you to understand the profounder implications. So, what will happen if suppose you just stay seated? Watch your mind. Though you are sitting, your body is not moving. You are in meditative pose. You have stopped your breath. I'm leading you to bigger practice in yoga. You can even go into a state of hibernation. Still, your mind is not free of objects, but without taking you to any serious state of stillness. Suppose you are just seated, calm. Everybody looks through your window somehow, sneaks into it, if you are meditating. But what are you doing? Your mind is busy. Either you have dozed off, or you are working with your mind. Sankalpas, vikalpas, lots of thoughts. With a big problem that you have chosen this time for practice of meditation. And you have entered this state of meditation not to think of certain things. And then you count which are the things I shouldn't think of. And those very things get into your mind, which you want to avoid. Because you want to be very clever, you want to avoid them. So you must remember. So though outwardly you are in meditation, your mind is involved with objects. And all this goes on, and 2 hours have passed, 3 hours have passed, and you get up from it, you write in your diary, practice meditation for 3 hours. Krishna says, that's foolish, hypocritical, mithyachar. Achar means conduct. And let me give you variations of this, the use of this term. Sadachar means righteous conduct. Shishtachar means admirable conduct that can inspire others. Cultured conduct. Shrestachar, those who are highly advanced, their conduct becomes exemplary. Durachar is ugly conduct, demoniac conduct. Dushtachar, wicked conduct. The term conduct has to be understood because everybody has to conduct. One thing you should not do, mithyachar, false conduct. Adopting a negative conduct and developing the idea or trying to show to others that you are doing something great. Eating onions and garlics, saying to others that you are tasting rasgullas. I'm nothing against those spices, just giving you as a simile. Mithyachar. It's important to be sincere with yourself. Sincerity starts with yourself. Are you sincere? You'll be surprised. It takes a long time for a person to be sincere with one's own self. Because the concepts of things will have to change. Because you have already a preconceived notion of what you are. And you go on asserting it. But when you have a deeper understanding, you have a profound awareness of who you are. Who you are, I'm not talking from the highest point of view, but I'm telling you about understanding a negative state and a positive state. Sometimes differentiation is as hard as a person is sick and he doesn't know he is sick until a doctor starts telling. But even when you develop the idea you are sick, but you refuse to be treated, then becomes you are not sincere with yourself. The question of adopting actionlessness, where certain steps you may take go into ekant, Ekant means free of people, solitude. Physical solitude can be of help. But you have to also understand physical solitude is not the solitude. You can lead yourself to a place where nobody is around and absolutely quiet. You may create it right in your own house if you are a little wiser. If you are led by illusions, then you would have to find through a website where can be absolutely joyous solitude. Work hard to get at it. But this form of attaining solitude is a form of ignorance, delusion. Real solitude is to allow your mind to develop purity, chitta shuddhi, mind that is free of mala, gross impurities, free of vikshepa or wild desires. That process is a whole process of integral yoga. But it is all the time you have to understand. Solitude is innate in you. When you are in deep sleep, you have gone into solitude, in spite of whatever may be your external circumstances. That potentiality of moving away from mind, etc., exists in you all the time, because in reality you are beyond all. That inner solitude is the real akarma, inactivity. The more you move towards that solitude, greater is your effectiveness in performing good actions. Seems paradoxical, but that has to be understood well. Calmer you are internally, more eloquent you are externally. Therefore, calmer you are, there is greater inspiration. Any project done, backed up by inspiration, moves faster. But any project that is just backed by perspiration, that kills you. That art has to be learned. How to tap from inspiration, how to allow inspiration to emerge out of your heart. And your actions bring you closer to and closer to God. Your actions are more and more fulfilling. When you are led by inspiration, your actions are fulfilling. When you are not led by inspiration, your actions produce boredom. Then your mind is just struggling, when will I retire? And somehow a retired life seems soothing. When you do not perform your duties with the idea that I'm going to become actionless, that is due to ignorance. And that's called mithyachar. You are becoming hypocritical. Yaspindriyani manasa nyamyarabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiha karma yogam asakta savishishyate. O Arjuna, one who has restrained his mind and senses and engages his organs of actions in the performance of actions enjoined in the scriptures is far superior to the former, referring to those who turn away from actions. certain points have to be kept in view. First point, control the mind and senses. But that control has to be brought about by vivek, a discriminative intellect, an intellect that knows how to distinguish between right and wrong. Think of that chariot simile. Horses, senses are your horses, mind is the reins, intellect is the chariot driver, the soul is being driven. Your horses, the senses, should not take over your life's project. Therefore, in day-to-day life, senses have to be always handled by intellect that knows the difference between Shreya and Preya, what is good for you and what is just pleasant. Rather, train your mind to experience pleasantness in that which is good for you. Develop a sense of joy in doing things that are good for you. Good, that doesn't imply things that you do good for you, you may not be comfortable, may demand effort, may demand patience, endurance. But nevertheless, you begin to enjoy developing a spiritual strength within yourself. So your sense of joy changes. Next point, renounce attachment to fruits of karma. Simple understanding. Everyone has to handle various projects. Karmas are for every soul. First point, don't go on working hard about choosing the karma. What type of project should I do? What should I take up that will be interesting for me? I'm just giving you a simple way of mind goes after. Don't struggle with it. God has created your life in such a way that karma flows like a river. From early in the morning, look around and always there is some karma. Your pet is crying. You didn't plan. It's already there. Karma of welcoming, greeting your elders, receiving their blessings, asking them what they would like to have. I'm just giving you a simple way to understand. But there is always, whether you go to the office or you don't go to the office, many unexpected karmas await you. Not even for a single moment God gives you just boredom. That's called pravaha patita karma. Action, stream of action flows like a river. If you live by the banks of a river, every day as you enter the river, you are not entering the same water. The water has been flowing on and you don't care. Rather, it's much refreshing to enter into a flowing river. Karmic stream flows on and you go on doing you handle the karma. That gives you the possibility of being detached. The technical term, the spiritual term for this type of karma is called niyata karma, also known as pravaha patita karma. karma that flows on. Do that karma, but that's not enough. Do it with asanga. Asanga means don't go on building up in your mind a sentimental attachment. This karma, this work that I'm handling is so pleasing. May I go on doing this more and more. Let fall a plate of, I'm making big joke, chocolates. And you go on picking up the chocolates. And now that you are tasting, now you say, this karma, this job is bad job. God should always give me this time. That attitude you shouldn't have. Because no matter how delightful project has come in your hand, it has been planned by God for a purpose. It is not going to stay. Every job that you do is transient. Like clouds moving in the sky. And you should be completely prepared to handle the job, no matter how wonderful it is, and let it go. And continue with whatever job comes to you, handling it with a refreshing attitude that God is behind it. Love of God, surrender to God, blend in this attitude. Asanga towards the work. And asanga towards the fruit of the work. 2 points are there. Your mind is working on, if I do this, a result will be like this. And when the result comes, I will be so happy. I'm planting mangoes, and in course of time it will bring fruit. When the fruits begin to come, I will invite all my members of family. We will have a party just under the mango tree. I'm dramatizing. What we mean attachment to fruit. Karma and its fruit, they are all transient. Any accomplishment in the world of time and space is not really fulfilling for the soul, because the soul has nothing to do with them. In spite of all your achievements, you kick the bucket. So, nothing has any impact on you. What the impact that you are looking for is your ability to perform your karma with detachment, doing the duties as they come. Detachment towards the work, detachment towards the fruit of karma. And in that detachment, soul becomes attached to God more and more. The reflected sun is moving towards the sun, detached from the bucket, detached from the water, detached from many other ramifications. And therefore, turn your karma into karma yoga, aiming at chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. You cannot bring about a quick change in the values of your karmas. But now you begin to inject certain attitudes. You are doing your duties. There are certain attitudes have to blend along with your works. Well designed that as you do your action, your heart becomes increasingly purified Purified means you are reducing your jealousy, your hatred, your stress, agitation, fear, all the marvels, the negative that thwarts your mind. As you begin to go on removing them, good duties done day by day, mind breathes a spiritual oxygen. Your heart becomes clearer. It is that which you should look for. And thank God that He has given you a series of dharmas, actions, duties that you should be engaged in. That gives you an avenue to create chitta shuddhi in an effective manner. Otherwise, you sit down counting upon the impurities of the mind and fighting with them. And that way you can do nothing about it. You remain as what you are. But when you flow on with action, doing with the spirit of karma yoga, the entire karmic process becomes worship of God. That will become the chapter called vikarma, different attitudes blended with the performance of your action. Turns your action into yajna, a special type of action that purifies the heart. When organs of action are involved in sattvic karma, then that's the easiest way of keeping the mind free of vishaya chintan, mind that is always engrossed with objects. Vishaya chintan is the source of terrible stress for the mind. And therefore mind goes on losing its goodness, its divine potentiality. It goes on becoming dull and duller. Vishaya Chintan smashes your mind, makes it, crushes mind and its blossoming possibility. Ishwar Chintan allows your mind to blossom. The art of life is to let the mind move away from Vishaya Chintan. Watch your mind and create a mathematical study. See what proportion your mind goes after the worldly things, worrying about. And the movement of mind towards relaxing with the idea God is the creator and I am enfolded by His grace. That is the reality. Stressful thinking is your reality created by your little mind. Now try to see day by day a mathematical proportion between the two. And that becomes the secret of living a spiritual life in a profound way. And with this I'll conclude. Om Shanti Shanti.